says I'm live. I like to see it. Okay.
I think you are live.
Yep, we are. Oh, I am definitely alive.
Yeah.
I meant live on YouTube.
Okay.
I well, I should record this as a matter of fact. Thank you. I was to say I don't record these, but I do. I don't edit. I don't use the recorded version. I just leave it up on YouTube Live. Okay, so once again, I'm live on YouTube and blabbing. So, hi, I'm Ralph Preston, and every Tuesday we have these Stroke Buddies stroke survivor support meetings. So when I have guests, I call them recovery and science. But today we're going to do the third um, live physical therapy session. And no, I'm not a physical therapist, but I've learned a fair amount about it. And most of the all the things that I demonstrate are pretty safe as long as you factor safety into how you're doing them. And they're all, yeah, I guess I might have invented one or two, but they're all basically things that I've learned from physical therapists and nothing too crazy or outside uh, the box thinking. So today we're going to do, of course, I'm just telling you, we're going to do some core stuff. I figured I'd give it a little bit of subject. Wendy suggested core, so Wendy, this is for you. But that said, anybody's got any questions outside of core or about anything, they're always welcome because I'm doing this for you guys and people out there in YouTube land. I hope I know how to do all this already because I'm getting ready to demonstrate some of it. Um, so, um, core is really important. Everything that you do has to do with core. Your balance, your walking, the way you hold your shoulders up, your arm, your hand. It's all everything's connected back to core. You have a weak core and you have some issues. Balance is going to be an issue for one, because you're having a good strong core is what helps you recover when you start going this way or that way. Use your core muscles to pull yourself back to that imaginary string. It's connected to the sky hook in the sky that holds you up nice and straight. Um, I always wondered what that string was connected to. They always talk about imagine a string coming out of your head holding you straight up. Okay, well, you need a sky hook for that. Anyway, a couple other things about core. Most people think about core in terms of like their solar plexus, uh, transverse abdominals, their solar plexus. I don't know my anatomy well enough, so I'm out of muscles. But your core is more than that. Your core involves you've got all these muscles on your back that are connected to your hip and your gluteus maximus, all your three gluteus muscles and your hips. So you pretty much everything starting with your hips, your back, what you think of as core, it's all kind of core. And so core involves, more than doing sit-ups. In fact, sit-ups, there's people argue that sit-ups don't do that much for your core. I can show you something today. I was looking at the videos that I have two playlists on core. One of them is seated core exercises for people in wheelchairs. So don't think we have anybody still in a wheelchair here, but I'm still going to go over them for Linda, maybe, or anybody else out there in YouTube land, because it's useful. I won't spend a whole lot of time on them. Might have to refer to my notes, which are the playlists I have. I'll put the links to the playlist for everybody out there in YouTube land. I'll put the links to the two playlists in the description under this video, but also if you're watching this on YouTube, you're on my YouTube channel, so you can just go to playlists and look for modified seated core exercises and safe and effective core exercises. Those are the two playlists. So one of the things that we do in yoga, one of the most simplest core exercises you can do, it's not in my playlist, but similar things are, and that is when you're sitting in a chair. When we do chair yoga, one of the simplest things that we do, you can do whatever you want with your hands. I usually put them on my knees, and you do like little circles. And you go one way. Now I'm just moving from the hips. I'm seated on the chair. My hip bones are not moving, just everything above. And so you can circle around. If my left side is affected, but I don't have like a weak spot. If you have a weak spot over there, like where you could like fall out of the chair, you want to stay away from that. If you're in a wheelchair, typically you have the arms up. If you take the arms out, you can fall out of the chair more readily. So there are safety things. So if you go one way and then you go the other way, what you're trying to do is work those trunk muscles doing that. And so the first one in my playlist is candlesticks. So let's see, candlestick, you're basically doing the same thing. Put your hands over your head, you lean one way, you lean the other, and you recover back, and you lean the other way. Again, if you have a point of no return, you better stay away from it. When I first was showing these, I made this playlist up for a friend of mine in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She was having trouble doing. Michelle Jensen had had these exercises, but they weren't modified for a wheelchair, so I modified them. The first time I showed her this, she hit the point of no return. I threw the camera on the ground, my phone on the ground, because I thought she was going to fall out of the wheelchair. So knowing where your point of no return is always good in everything, not just sitting in a wheelchair. It's good if you're standing up too. And knowing, where that magic point is, where you're straight up again. Okay, so that's candlesticks. Oh, by the way, if you got your hands all the way over your head, or if you can't, if you got like one, you might that doesn't go up, you might have to modify it. But if you have them all the way up over your head, you've got the weight of your arms is adding like a weight. So if that's too much for you, you can put them on top of your head. You want to reduce it all the more, put them behind your head. If you can't put them behind your head, you can do one. So you can control the amount of weight, if you will. It's not weight, it's your arms, by not going all the way up, by modifying it down. So that's one. Basically a seated crunch. Basically a seated crunch. Now here the danger, it's not dangerous. What you need to pay attention to if you're going to do a seated crunch when you come forward is that you know where the point of no return is. You don't want to keep going. Although, let me see, it's pretty hard. I don't think I could fall through my knees, but still, it's a good idea to know how far you can go, and then you pull back up. And when you pull back up, you can feel it. It's kind of like doing a sit-up. So, a lot of people in wheelchairs say, I can't do this. I can't get on the floor. I can't do this or that. So these are things that just about anybody can do safely. Oblique lean with a weight. Okay, that's basically taking a weight, and I got weights back there, imaginary weight, and then you lean with the weight. Again, you're working on that side-to-side point of no return. This is working, when you do these side-to-side ones, I think they're working more your back and side muscles. The other part of your core as opposed to just up front. Oh yeah, knee to elbow is a real good one. So can I go back far enough? Well, just move the chair back on the rug. So, well, one of them on this is basic leg lifts too. So I'll do that first, even though they're different order in the playlist. So that would be this lifting your legs up. If you lift your leg up on either side, if I do it, I can feel these core muscles tighten. This transverse abdominal right here tightens up. So that's good. Also, lifting your foot off the ground is good because that's what we do when we walk. Everybody knows what it feels like to have a foot glued to the floor right after you have a stroke. You're dragging, you can't pick it up. So that's a simple thing. And then if you want to do it, now not everybody's going to be able to do this with their affected arm, depending on whether your affected arm is still kind of hanging there or you got pretty good use of it. Anyway, the thing is you would do this. So you're lifting your leg up and you're doing a bit of a crunch, leaning your elbow into it. Of course, I'm just going to show you a couple of these. You do, however many you're comfortable with. Just sets of 10 or 20 per side. Some people count 10, count every one as one. Some people count one left and right as another one. What else we got? Leg lifts. Oh yeah, something as simple as looking over one shoulder. We do that in yoga too. Just again, I can feel it. I can feel it here, and you're working these muscles that help you twist. And if you don't think you have to twist, you'd be surprised at all the motions you go through if you lose your balance and you're trying to recover. Knowing about twisting is good. So that's those modified seated core exercises, and then we'll go to I'll go to the regular ones and show some stuff. Okay, balance ball's kind of out. My balance ball needs inflating, and that's pretty high level one. So we'll save that for another day. Okay, getting in and out of the wheelchair. Okay, so a lot of, let's back up a sec. Those are all seated things you can do. A lot of the core exercises I did and do involve getting on the ground. Not everybody can get on the ground. I don't know if you all can or can't, or if you're interested in knowing how to get on the ground and back. That might be a good thing for everybody in YouTube land as well. There are a couple of simple ways. No, I can get down on the ground and back up. I did it a couple weeks ago, and number 2, I got back down on the ground and back up without touching anything, including myself. But I'm not recommending that for most people because it takes a lot of balance and takes a lot of strength and takes a lot of practice. So let's see, how can we do this? I have a wheelchair. It's out in the garage. I got a rollator over there. They're not really wheelchairs. Yeah, a chair is a chair is a chair. Tell you what, I'm gonna go all the way back with this sucker. Don't have my camera angles all worked out here yet. Let's see. Yeah, you don't really need to see my head. You need to see where I'm headed. Oh, that rhymes. Okay. So imagine you're sitting in a wheelchair instead of a regular chair. The way I've always taught people, and the way a physical therapist taught me to teach people how to get in and out of a wheelchair, and there are a number of ways, and of course, like everything in the world, there's controversy about it. Some people say this way's right and that way's right. I think any way that works for you that's safe is right for you. So basically, in both the ways I'm going to show you today, of course, you need to be up close to the edge. It's hard to get out of anything or stand up if you're sitting all the way back. The ways I'm going to show you involve kind of using your hands to keep you from falling on the ground. So if you're seated, okay, I'll do this without my left hand. So if you're seated, you put your unaffected hand down. If you have use of both, you can put them both down, and you can just drop a knee. I'm dropping my unaffected. Now I've lifted myself up. I got my butt up off. I'm sliding this hand forward. I drop my knees, drop my affected knee, and now I'm down on the ground. Didn't use this hand at all. And if I'm kind of walking to get away from the chair, so I can do whatever I want to do. Then how do you get back in the chair? Well, you turn around again. Put this hand behind my back. Basically, I'm going to come up on the chair. You don't want to pull too much on the chair. You're going to have to use it. You want to use it for stability. Of course, it's got arms, so you can grab the arms. I'm just going to grab. I use my affected leg to get up. Ever since I could, I've gotten up on my affected leg to the point that my brain says we're doing it wrong when I do the other. So I just moved it up on my own, which I can do. If you can't, you might have to, but now I don't have a hand to balance. You might have to help get that leg up with your unaffected hand. And you get it up, then you just push up, you bring the other leg up, you do what I call scoochy steps. I was one time trying to teach somebody how to turn around like this and do what I call scoochy steps, and she kept telling me, I don't need to learn how to do that. I said, oh yeah, you do. So I just rotated around and I sat back down. So that's one way. The other way is kind of a yoga move. Get this out of the way so I can't hit it. If I hit anything, I want to hit those big soft chairs and not the floor. Anyway, the other way I learned to do this is like Chris Moore gets up and down like this, one of our people in our community. I learned to do it from Nivea, yoga teacher. I was doing a live lesson. She said, I'm going to teach you how to get down and up doing a sun salutation. I said, I've never done it. And we got the camera rolling. I said, but I'm willing to try. So I did. It basically involves the same thing. I've never tried this one-handed. I'll do it two-handed first. So you basically do a deep knee bend as far as you can go without falling forward. I'm pushing on my toes, holding myself back. Then put your hands down and you walk them out or slide them out. And now you're down. And you come back up the same way. I mean, of course, I could do bridges or whatever, and then you come back to this position. And again, you're going to either drag or pull that leg under you, whichever one you're more comfortable with. And you walk your hands back up, and you pull your other one up, and you stand up. So that's getting up using the sun salutation method. There are a couple other methods, but those are the two best ones I know. So if you haven't done that much, you definitely want to have somebody else around the first time you try anything. Anytime you're doing anything that you've never done before, I think it's a good idea to have a spotter, if somebody's willing to spot you, or at least somebody around who can call 911 if you knock yourself out. Um, I'm 17 years out. I do a lot of stuff, but like right now, I got a light bulb that needs changing and a air conditioning filter that needs changing. And I'm waiting for somebody to come over and visit because I'm not getting up on a ladder when I'm home alone. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I've done it in the past and I have not fallen, but it's just not a good idea. You're messing with the odds. The odds are sooner or later it's to come bite you in the ass. Yeah, and I said ass for a good reason because if you get bitten in the ass by something like a fall, it's not good. Just um, Dr. Hetzler sneezed, but he went through a fall that put him back in the hospital for a couple of weeks. They had to learn how to walk again. Plus, there's no way of measuring what it might have done to his confidence. So I'm not trying to get personal with you, Dr. Hetzler, but one of the things that you really hurt, if you don't hurt your body, you're guaranteed to hurt your confidence.
That is true, Ralph. That is very true. And I'm actually, it was a very bad effect for me, that sneeze. But there was someone in our stroke support group who had a much more severe consequence. He was standing, sneezed, fell backwards,
Mm,
and hit his neck on the fireplace and
mm.
broke his neck. So you have to be very careful. And I learned my lesson the hard way. Uh, I try I try to always be holding on to something when I sneeze.
I think about you every time I sneeze for the last almost 3 years now, I think it is. Um, every time I sneezed, I'm not sure who was here because I was configuring, maybe it was Judy Johnson said, bless you. I sneezed when I was setting up this meeting. I don't sneeze that much, but especially if I'm walking, because Dr. Hetzler felt a sneeze coming on, grabbed a door, but the door moved on him. So if you can, if you got time, I sit down. I sit down on the bed or a chair. I play musical chairs when I'm about to sneeze. I look for the quickest thing I can sit my butt down on, because then you can't fall.
That is true.
It's like in fitness class, Jill Stein has this great thing. She says if you're worried about anything or you feel something coming on or you're not right, get on the floor because when you're on the floor you can't fall.
Right.
I play musical chairs and like I get ready to sneeze, the music stops and I'm looking to sit down or if there's something to sit on to, grab a dresser or whatever. So it's funny how that happens. I've got certain things. I got a friend who drinks a lot of coffee. Every time I use my coffee maker to make tea, every morning I think about her. Every time I go to sneeze, I think about you and Dr. Hetzler, and I probably will for the rest of my life.
What
Particularly,
was you thinking about me?
particularly if you're walking. You don't want to sneeze like when you're walking out in what I call outer space, nothing to hold on to, because sneeze is kind of violent.
Yeah.
Mine are, when I sneeze, in guess what moves? Oh, my trunk and core. So, and if you move your trunk and core too much, you can't recover. So I do that's another discussion. I don't do a lot of things when I'm walking. I don't look at my cell phone. I pay attention to the edge of rugs. I don't ever put my foot, like this is the edge of a rug. I don't ever put my foot 1 inch away. Why? I'll step up on the rug by an inch or so. Put your foot 1 inch away. Next step, you get your toe underneath the rug. You're flipping the rug over. You tag the rug. Next thing you know, you've
That's
done
what
that,
happened to me.
Marilyn.
That's what happened to me down in the basement. I
Simple
wasn't paying
idea.
attention to the little ripple that was in the rug, and my foot hit it. And I said, "I'm going down."
Right.
Then I had to crawl to the thing to pull me up.
Almost all falls are caused by not paying attention. I'm at 10 years and 5 months now since I've fallen. I've tripped probably 100 times. This would make actually another good conversation sometime. And I noticed that the 100 times I tripped, 99 of them I wasn't paying attention. I was doing something else. I was thinking about something else. I let my mind wander. So the simple solution to that one, Marilyn, is when you come up on that rug,
Yeah.
you're paying attention. You put your toe about 1 inch over the rug.
Right.
Now you can't tag it.
Right.
So once I do these things, like just like Dr. Hetzman is sneezing now, every time I go anywhere on a rug, I don't even think about it. I just sort of automatically do that. Anyway, we're getting away from the whole core thing, but that's totally fine. So let's see what we got here. Balance balls are out. So I showed you how to do getting out of the wheelchair. So we got, let's see, bridges, McGill Big Three. Boy, those are probably the best core exercise. Maybe we'll start with them. And hey, by the way, anybody got any questions, or Winnie, you got anything you want me to show you or demonstrate? You want to see bridges or side planks or something? I don't have anything going on. I'll stay here and do them all as long as my brain holds out. It's funny, the first 2 times I did this, I was kind of like worn out at the end, and you guys would understand this. I can't explain this to other people, but you would all understand it. I wasn't physically worn out, but my brain was saying, you don't normally demonstrate all this stuff. You don't do all this stuff. You're doing all this, walking and talking and chewing gum at the same time. We don't have as much brain power. I was like brain dead last time. So I'll just keep demonstrating. Kara's got her hand up, so go, Kara.
Hi, sorry, thanks. I had a quick question. I'm left side affected. I still wear an AFO, but I'm trying to strengthen my ankle, my knee. I do a bunch of stuff, both on the floor and, the toe ups and a bunch of things. But I also recently got a Bosu ball. Maybe I was a little quick to get it, but I just been trying to do some lunges and some modified lunges because it can hurt my knee after a little bit, going that far. And then when your knee goes over your toes, it's not good. But I was wondering if you have any specific recommendations of what to do on a Bosu ball for strengthening the ankle and knee. Specifically.
I do. Okay, my first, see, I can't see what you're capable of, so it's hard for me to, if I have a Bosu ball, I can actually go get it. But the first thing, and I'm not saying this to be snide or anything, but the first thing was if I was with you and if it was me and you and a Bosu ball, I would have you try a couple of things first before I sent you off on the Bosu ball, because my answer might be stay off the damn thing for now. Because they're pretty high level. And by the way, this makes no sense to me, but my therapist, actually two people have said, when you get a Bosu ball, put the blue side down. Don't stand on the blue side. Well, I don't listen very well.
No, me neither. I don't do that. I can't stand on the flat side. I only have it with a bump up, and I stand. I can't really stand. I mean, my ankle's a little, I don't need to do like any twisting of my ankles. I don't want to hurt myself. And I do have to hold on a little still. And I do try to balance on my left side, my left foot, even without the Bosu ball, just in general, on a pillow, on the floor, whatever. Hold on, let go, I'm right there. But no, I'm not an acrobat. I'm definitely not at the stage of turning it over and standing on the flat side. Maybe one day, not today.
Right. Well, and I have one. I actually have a Bosu ball thing. The first time I first got it, I was demonstrating it. It's on my iPhone. It's not uploaded. I could find it and show it. But basically, I put it next to my treadmill, because the treadmill's got big metal arms. So I put it right in front of one of the big metal arms, and I was talking about how you want to do that in case something happens. And at the very end of the video, I go to get off, and I about fall off of the thing, and I grab the arm, and I go, see what I'm talking about? Anyway, Okay, this is a complex thing. I'm going to back up a little bit because, you know, I don't know how much if you're wearing the AFO. Typically, to me, the only real reason to wear an AFO is if you got ankle roll. I don't like them for drop foot. They don't help drop foot. They don't help with they block out, and they make articulating ones. But anybody ever take one and try and bend them? I can't bend the articulated ones.
Yeah, I have it articulated. I mean, I do have dorsiflexion, and when I'm on the ball, I don't wear the AFO. I'm with
So
with socks or
my
shoes.
concern is if you got some ankle roll and ankle weakness that you get on the bank, you get on the Bosu ball, and it could be worse than
Right.
walking. When you walk without an if to me, the best use of AFOs, well, there's several. Some people, we got Kevin Matthews and Polly Hutchison both popped to mind, who both feel like, and their therapists have said they may never get off of an AFO because structurally they don't have enough strength in that leg and they may never be able to develop it. So, but those people aside, I think they're most useful for ankle roll, and because ankle roll's real dangerous. Um, and for getting off of them, I've gotten a few people off of them. Judy Johnson right here got off of one and then went back on one by choice, and her therapist had good reasons for her to go back on one by choice. Judy, if you want to say anything, you're welcome to. I basically showed her a method, Kara, where you learn about where neutral is, and you do like weight bearing where you kind of roll your foot to the inside a little bit, if anything. And so, to me, that whole process starts with ankle exercises, drawing the alphabet, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, eversion, side to side. I've got a whole ankle playlist. Drawing the alphabet's great because one time you draw a C, next time you have to draw an A or a B or whatever, or a D comes after C. So you're doing straight lines and curves, and you use a lot of different kind of muscles. Anyway, to me, it's the beginning of that whole process is weight bearing, ankle strengthening, walking in safe places without the AFO. Judy was lucky to have I think she was a Jamaican woman named Tina. She wasn't tiny though, man. And Judy is tiny, and Tina was not tiny. Tina could pick you up and toss you across the room, I think, if she wanted to. Anyway, we'll let Judy talk about a little bit about her experience getting off the AFO, and if she wants to, why she got back on it. And I don't know if it's full time or in certain situations. So I shut up now. Go, Judy.
Okay. No, the AFO is strictly backup. I haven't worn it in a long time. Kara, I came home from rehab with the AFO, and Coach Ralph, I said, Coach Ralph, I want to get off this AFO. So I'll be honest with you, the best thing I ever did was start walking without it. It was scary. I did a lot of weight bearing, hours and hours and hours of just standing on that left leg. Lots of exercises, as Ralph has talked about, ankle exercises. My ankle does roll, so I have to be careful, particularly when I get fatigued. But I'm walking. Now, I did start in January, I started wearing the neural sleeve. So I am wearing some help now, but I still have days that I don't wear anything and I'm able to comfortably walk. And that was the priority for me. I didn't want to have to be a slave to anything, not the AFO, not anything. So I was very determined because when I came home from rehab, Kara, I couldn't take 2 steps without that AFO. And I said to myself, oh, no, I'm not going to be that dependent on this thing. So it probably took me about 3 months to wean myself off of it. But I will tell you, it was the best thing I ever did. Now, I did get a carbon fiber AFO because I figure I'm 75 years old. Like I said, when I get fatigued, I figure I may need it at some point more often, but I'm not wearing it now.
Good, yeah.
And weaning myself off of that thing was the best thing I ever did.
That's good. Yeah, it sounds like a very positive story. A little bit about mine. I'm a year. I'm like a few days over a year. I came home with the full leg KAFO December 11th. And then by mid-January, I was down to an AFO. I do not wear my AFO in and around my house. And outside, like I can do it a little bit in the backyard, just on flat patio. I wear the AFO and I still use a cane when I'm outside. And I still have a lot of that like knee, like it hyperextends, so it like snaps back.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
stand, I'm strengthening my quads, my hamstrings, my calf, and like I have the dorsiflexion, like I said. So I'm trying to strengthen. And I know I've gained strength. And it's a
Good.
little bit of a matter of time and still doing the exercises. And yes, continuing to wear it for safety outside, especially in an unknown area, but also not wearing it as little as possible when I'm safe. But I believe I need to return to PT when my insurance resets in order to really safely get the best opportunity to get out of it. Because especially now with returning to work in a few weeks, I'll be doing a lot more walking and I do not need to be having any issues there. So
Well, let me give you a warning because
yes,
your PT is going to encourage you to wear it
yeah,
because they're all about safety.
yeah,
And
but
I certainly understand that. So what I'm saying to you is take what they say to you with somewhat of a grain of salt.
oh, understood completely. And I'm
You
probably
know,
go to a different place for PT just because it's under my husband's insurance for not for the fact that I didn't like where I was going, for other, reasons.
sure.
So, well, it'd be interesting to see a new set of eyes and somebody first assessing me that doesn't know me, and that'll be interesting. But I'm really keeping at all my stuff. In fact, once I'm off here, I'm gonna get on the floor, gonna do all my exercise, the floor stuff I can do, and
Wonderful. Sit to stands.
oh yeah, those are tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are tough.
I was going to say to you too, I ordered a Bosu ball, but I couldn't use it. So
Yeah,
what I ended up with was one of those squishy pads. It's about 4 inches thick, but
yeah,
it's squishy.
right,
And so it helps you with your balance without being as inflatable as
right,
the Bosu ball.
right.
So that may be a better choice for you right now if you want to, if you can trade it in, I don't know.
Sure.
But think about one of those squishy boards.
Yeah, I
If I
know.
can make a comment here about, this is Bruce Hetzler,
Hi.
comment about AFOs. And what I did may not be of any help to you, but I had two AFOs. One was a rigid one, one had an articulated ankle that meant it tore up the inside of my shoe. But I hated them both. They hurt my toes. I absolutely hated them. And my physiatrist suggested a was called a Dorsey strap. It's DORSI, either space or a hyphen strap. And that's something that now they're not made anymore, but there's a caveat there, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Basically, there are two Velcro straps that tie into the end eye holes on your shoes. So you have, they tie into that hole there,
Yeah.
and then they're attached to like a shoelace, but it then has about a 6 inch Velcro strap on the end. and then there's a black cuff that goes around the lower part of your leg, and it velcros in place, and then you wrap those two straps that are tied into your shoes around it. The one in the right eye hole goes around behind and velcros onto the bottom of this cuff on your leg. The one that's in your left eye hole wraps around from the left at the top, and I found that worked well for me. Now, they don't make them anymore.
Well,
Ever, you can't. I had one that I used for 10 years and it wore out and the Velcro just wouldn't, it was worthless. But I did find, and this is probably about 3 years ago, on eBay, there was somebody selling them and they were brand new. He did not make them. I don't know where he got them. Maybe the original manufacturer sold them all. I haven't looked recently. I don't know if they're still there. But again, it's called a Dorsey strap. And
well,
I did find them on eBay. I'm not sure how much they were, like
Yeah.
between $20 and $40 or something. But I loved it, and it didn't hurt my toes because it had nothing to do with my toes.
it just to care basically pulls your
Yeah.
points the
Yeah,
belt
it lifts
pulls,
it
pulls
lifts up
your
the
toe up
front of
and
my shoes so I don't
Yeah.
stub my toes.
don't stub your toe.
Yeah.
I believe when you first brought this up a couple years ago, Dr. Hetzler, um, I believe that both Flint Rehab and Sabo still manufacture something that works on the same principle. They're more expensive. I actually, after you told us about them a couple years ago, I know the people at Flint Rehab, and they were wanting me to test products and recommend them, I guess, or whatever. I don't endorse things, but I was willing to test it. They sent me one for free, and I wore it for a few days, and I found it kind of useful. I don't need it, but I found it kind of useful. I passed it on to Marilyn, who wore it for a while, and then stopped wearing it. But I believe that both Sabo and Flint, and maybe some other people make something similar, or on Amazon. The one that the brand that you're talking about may no longer be made, but the concept's still valid. Of course, to me, Judy, I'll come to you just
I
like,
just looked on eBay and there are a few of them available on eBay. It looks like they're about $45.
okay,
Thank you. And
You're welcome.
again, the woman that was talking about not wearing her AFO on the days or the times when you're not wearing an AFO, you might want this Dorsey strap thing or something like it. I know Flint makes something that's sort of similar. Um, but
yeah,
again, I just hated the AFO.
it you got the same principle. You got hooks on the shoes, and you got these two. They look flimsy, but they're strong. Two like nylon threads.
Uh-huh.
It goes to a central dial, and you can twist the dial, and it pulls the threads tighter. Of course, what did I try and do? I mean, I got good use of my hands, but the first thing I tried to do was a thing, because if I'm gonna like look at a product like that, I'm gonna look at it in terms of everybody else, not just me. So I tried to put it on one-handed. That was a bit of a challenge, but I managed to get it on one-handed, so that is possible. Um, I do this stuff because a lot of people say, well, I can't use my hand, I can't do that. And to which I go, yeah, you can, because I was able to do it one-handed. I'm basically trying to, in a nice and polite way, with a solution, shut people down from saying, I can't do that, I can't do that. Because how many people do we know constantly go, I can't do that? And they're entitled to that. And, you know, and they also need to look out for their own safety. Yeah, if you go back to PT, the PTs might well suggest it because they're all about safety, and safety is a good thing, but I also think you can pay attention to your own safety. Also the thing about the Dorset straps or Flint products and everything is when I got off my AFO, I wanted to be done. There weren't any of these other products. I wasn't aware of them. So I just wanted to get off the darn thing and not have anything. So, you know, to me, the point of sure, I learned how to adapt and do things one-handed while I was building my hand back up. But to me, the point always would be to get back as much function as you can so you don't have to adapt, so you don't need AFOs and devices if you can. It's not always possible. And by the way, Kara, I'd be happy to share the basic overview of the whole thing. I'll be happy to help you with your journey. It'll be slightly different than Judy's. Judy will tell you. Well, Judy was the first person I did it with virtually. I did it with somebody in person. And I felt comfortable about that. I knew a couple things about Judy. I knew her well enough to know she'd listen to me. And I probably said it 5 times in the first 5 messages back and forth. You have to listen to me now. Anyway, and she'll tell you, I made her walk barefooted. I made Tina lay on her flat on her belly and shoot video of her walking so I could see how her feet were landing and all that kind of thing, because I was really concerned about, because it was virtual and I couldn't put my hands on her or see that I could possibly do some harm if we weren't real careful. And Judy's an excellent student. She does listen. And she shot all the videos and did all the things, and we got her where she wanted to be. And I'm happy to help you with that, because your foot structure isn't going to be exactly the same. You're a different personality. You got to factor some of those things in. So if you want to help, I'm more than happy to help you.
Thank you.
Okay. So should we get back to core? I'm not turning into a pumpkin or anything, but it's getting on here. Maybe I'll show you the McGill Big 3 on the ground, because those are probably the best. Well, they're called the McGill Big 3. McGill is a university in Montreal, and they came out of the physical therapy department there. I believe, as opposed to being named after a Dr. McGill or something. Anyway, let me get my camera ready. Oh, by the way, I found my blue TheraBand for doing glute sit-to stand, so maybe I'll show you those. I showed them last time we did this a few weeks ago. Okay, so let's see. That should probably work for these. I'll look over it, make sure that I'm on camera. So get this out of the way. I'm not going to do any kind of fancy down. I'm just going to get down on the ground. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that'll kind of work. Okay, so here are the McGill Big 3. Okay, so you're laying on your back. This is an alternative to sit-ups. Oh boy, does that feel good. Oh, kind of hurts a bit. Not hurts, but I don't know. We spend so much time as stroke survivors not with our back straight. I tell you what, this is good just laying here and having that back all the way against the floor. Anyway, the McGill Big 3. First one's kind of like a sit-up, but it's not a sit-up, and sit-ups are easy compared to this thing. Can you guys see my head?
Yes.
Okay, good, because my head's all that's going to move. So you take your hands, however much they were, and you put them by your side, just one way. Now, the way that most people online show them is you got them underneath your back. Okay, so instead of doing a sit-up, you curl and come all the way up. You're not going to do that. A lot of people don't think sit-ups are all that great. Okay, so what you do is you got your hands by your sides or under your back like I do, and you're going to bring up your shoulders and head. The one thing you are not going to do is move your neck to get your head up. You don't want to do that. You want to pull your shoulders up with it. Up, I did a little bit of neck movement because I haven't done one of these in about a year. Yeah, I'm crazy. I mean, here I am on the floor demonstrating. Didn't do it any this morning, half an hour before we started. Haven't done them in a year. And here I am. But anyway, so I move my neck. So what you want to do is just pull the shoulders and head up. You can hold them or you can put it back down. You can't get them up very high. I guarantee you can't go past where I am now. I can't. No way. I'll tell you what. Those core muscles are really tight. So you do however many of them. Again, you don't move your neck. That's not going to do you any good. You're going to pull those shoulders up. And boy, you can feel it. Big time. So that's number one. Number two in the big three is
Figure four.
it's called a side bridge. I learned it as a side plank. So your basic plank is like a push-up. A push-up where you don't go down. You're just holding yourself. And when I'm doing this right now, I can feel it in my core, those same muscles. Okay, so a side plank or a side bridge. They call it a bridge, I call it a plank. You get on your side. I got this chair, this ottoman here in the way. So you get on your side. Now I'm doing them because I'm facing the camera, I'm doing them with my affected arm, which is not the easiest thing. And put your knees together, and then you, let's see if I can do it. Yeah, you come up. I'm using my other hand here because I can't get my legs straightened out enough. And you want to get those knees off the ground. Boy, I haven't done these in a couple of years. Let me try it on my right side. See if I can do it any better. Oh yeah. I can't get the legs out straight because of this ottoman. No. Not easy.
Wow.
Okay. Number three is your basic bird dog. So one of the best things about doing core exercise, one thing you can do when you're down on the ground. One thing I did with Kelly, a stroke survivor, did these for about a year, or she did them for about a year. It's basically knee stands, and then you can introduce some of those same things we were doing in a chair. You can move around, go and touch on either side, kind of thing. All this is good core stuff. Okay, so the third one's the bird dog. Basically, you're in a wall force, and if you can't do it, what you can do is put out one arm and one leg. Got the somebody's got their volume on, so you put one arm and one leg out, and then you do the other one. If you do all that yet, or you got one arm, you can just try doing your legs. Also, just put your arms out. That's doing some good. You're trying to get your leg with it. It says you have to get it like all the way up and out to begin with. You just try taking them off the ground. But ultimately, you want to do that and then that. And you saw a little bit of balance issue there because I haven't done these in about a year. Scratch your face. Bird dog. Where that audio's coming from? Oh, it came from Judy for some reason. Okay. All right. So this is an example of like, I'm not, like I could run around the block still, but I got like, right now I got no brain left. Because what am I doing? Demonstrating things I haven't done in a year. Anyway, so there you go. When have you got any core questions? I can keep doing this. I'm going to let my brain recover for a sec.
I'll wait.
I find if I just chill out for a minute or two, I can actually feel it. I'd love to know the science behind this. I've swore that sometimes when I feel this, to me, my my head feels hot. My ex never agreed with me, but she was the only one I ever had feel my head because I'm not around a lot of people when I get down on the floor and run out of brain. Anyway, I found if I sit down and just chill out for a minute, I reset. I can actually feel it resetting now. I feel it going away. Now, I don't know if this is the same with everybody. Anybody else do what I feel like run out of brain? Where, where you feel like you can't do it anymore?
Sure.
Anyway, Judy, you got some kind of radio or something going on.
Oh, let me mute myself. It's the TV. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Don't make Chet turn it off. It's okay. So Winnie, did you say you had a question?
No, my only question was getting to the sides, like I cannot really turn around at the side thing.
You may not be able to do side planks. I mean, I'm not going to go back and look at the video because I'll be horrified. I didn't do them very well. But you know, I've got a video where when I was doing them, what happened was the physical therapist showed me these, and I came back and practiced them for a while, and then I shot a video on it, so I did them much better then. I also didn't have, see, I'm also fighting this hassock over here. I couldn't get it out of the way. What I need to do is, I suppose I need to take these chairs and everything out and put down my exercise mat and all that kind of stuff, but it's kind of hard moving those chairs by yourself. They're pretty big. Two people can sit on them, they're that wide. They have to know each other pretty well, though. Or they're going to know each other pretty well by the time they're done. Anyway, so let's see what else we got here. So now I'm reset because I'm looking for something else to do. Clamshells.
Mm,
You know clamshells?
yes,
Do you know all the variations on them?
not all, but I try to do as much as I can.
Well, there's let me take a quick look at these suckers and I'll demonstrate them because I think I remember them. It's another thing I haven't done. I haven't done the variations on clamshells in about 3 or 4 years since a PT showed them to me. Clamshells. So, I'm afraid I'm going to get. These have several names. Okay. Let's see, clamshells that way. One leg, both legs, right? Then one up, and just, yep, one up and the other one up. Okay. By the way, all these things, at the very end of that video, I demonstrate clamshells on a bed. All these things, if you have trouble getting down on the floor, if you're in a wheelchair and you can't get in and out of the wheelchair, you spend some time in bed. So you can, even if you don't want to transfer back to the bed, you can do them first thing in the morning when you get up before you get out of bed. You can do clamshells, you can do different things. Some things like push-ups, your hands go kind of deep into the bed. Some things are not quite as stable, but clamshells are very easy to do on the bed. Regular bridges are, side planks, not so much, but because you need a good grip on the floor in order to get that hip up. But so I'll show you quickly clamshells, because there are a couple of variations. And the variations all make them harder, which of course is good. So let's see, I can do this either way. I'll put my head this way because that way I'll be lifting my affected leg doing the clamshells. By the way, when you do things on one side, I believe you should always do them on the other. So let's see here. Okay, so we're in. Okay, so we're in clamshell position. So the first is basically a clamshell up. You don't have to go all the way up. You don't have to go up here. That doesn't do much good. Most of the work is going on when you put them down. You also don't want to let them flop down. You want to control the down. It's always about the down. So real simple. That's your basic clamshell. I always do something with my hand to keep it out of the way and keep me thinking about it because I'll get it involved. Okay, then the next one is you can lift them both. These are better when you do have your affected side down because guess what? I can be pushing my affected leg up with my unaffected leg like I'm doing now. I'm not doing anything with my affected leg. So if you do these, you could even leave a little gap. Leave a little gap. Then, well, see, my brain's always trying to do, make it easier. Put the arm back there and stabilize yourself. That's why I put it up here because it's in neutral. Okay, and another thing you can do, another type is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think those are. Let's see, so we did basic, we did both, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think those are the only way. Okay, while I'm down here, I'll show you a basic bridge. Now I'm on a rug, I probably got on slippery shoes, so who knows. So bridge, you bend your knees, you got your butt in the ground, your back is completely flat, oh it feels good. Got your hands at your sides. You're just basically going to go up with your butt. Again, you can feel it. It's actually bridges do a lot with your legs and your glutes more than their core because your glutes and all those muscles in your back are part of your core. But basically, I don't feel much. These muscles are all soft. I'm not going to be punching my stomach like I did earlier when it was hard as a rock. So, and you go up and down. Again, you want to smooth down. You don't want to drop it. It's all about the down. It's easy to thrust up. Doing a nice controlled down is where the work happens. And it's harder. Okay, when you get good at them, you can do them with your affected leg only. Now you can hold your unaffected leg out straight. You can cross it over your other leg. So that's an affected leg only bridge. I usually just stick my leg out. I know it's blocking the camera, but we're not really thinking about it. Camera moves. I'd love to do this sometime with my cameraman here and let him move all around and zoom in, zoom out. Do different level of video, but I'd have to pay him. Okay. Now I'm out of brain again. And somehow I got a tickle in my throat. All
So
right.
if you're strong on your clamshells, then you can get up and when you fall, then right?
If you're strong, where?
On your when you do your clamshells, if you're strong with your butt and all that, you can get up with your falling, right?
You can get up if you've fallen?
Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, I mean, any and all of this core stuff is going to help if you fall. It's going to help you get back up. But any and all of it, I don't know, the clamshells help you any more than anything else. I'll tell you what, everybody try those the sit-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Just pull your shoulders up. Those strengthen your whole solar plexus, transverse abdominals, all muscles in the front pretty well. You can't, people say, well, if I only do one exercise, what should it be? Well, that's a really hard question because I think you should do, several exercises. Maybe you don't need to do what they're in this playlist, 14. Maybe you don't need to do all 14, but, they work different things work different muscles. What was I just showing you? Bridges. Nothing. My belly felt, soft as could be. So, you got the McGill type sit-ups that'll definitely work this, and you got the bridges that work your glutes and your quads and hamstrings more, and some of the muscles in your back, they do very little in the front. So I don't know if there's one exercise that's going to help you get up off the floor. I have 2 videos. They're in an iPhone Live playlist. I have 2 videos where I got on the ground and I crawled, not using my left arm or leg, and I stood up, not using my left arm or leg. Of course, if you watch the video closely, you'll see me try and use my left arm 3 times, and then I quickly go like, no, like that, and put it behind my back. Because my brain keeps saying, all of our brains do that. I'm sure everybody else, Judy's nodding her head. Your brain's always going like, when I first got out of the hospital, I found myself like when I was going to stand or sitting in a chair, I'd hook my foot around another chair. I'd involve all kinds of other muscles and things to try and make it easier. And of course, you want to eventually stop all that and learn how to do it, on its own without other involvement of other muscles or muscle groups. And then I realized there's something called a fish flop method. When I got over to the couch, I did like a stand-up method. Well, standing up method's hard for somebody who's got like a wiped out left side. So I went back and did I didn't do as much crawling, but I started close to the couch, get over the couch. Basically, once you get your hips up on a couch or a chair, you're on it. Until you have your hips up on the couch or chair, you are not on it. You go to stand up, you'll slide right back off. So what you do is you just kind of wiggle into position. You put your top up there, and somehow you flop like a fish. That's why I call it the fish flop method, or somebody called it that. You kind of flop like a fish and wiggle around until you can get your hips up. And once you get your hips up, you lay it on your side on your hips, and you just rotate around, and you can sit up and stand up. Okay, one more thing while I got them. This is kind of from last week, and these aren't exactly core, but this is your basic glute sit to stand. I said, imagine you got a blue band or got a band around your knees. So I'm going to put this band around my knees. I have it pre-tied. It's tied snug. It holds my knees together snug. It's not tight, it's just snug. Okay. Don't need to see my head. So what you do, for some reason, when you stand up, you can feel it in your quads and hamstrings. For some reason, can you see my feet? Yeah. So your feet are normally about 8 inches apart. So you put your feet a little wider than normal. Okay, so I got my feet for me, it's about 13 inches. Yeah, it's 12 and a half. I happen to have a 10-inch span. So I got my feet about a foot apart. It'd be different for somebody like Judy, who's smaller than me. It'll be a little closer. But it's a little wider than when you stand. When you stand, you should stand with your knees over your ankles, your hips over your knees and ankles, and your shoulders stand in a nice line. And this thing's pulling me back. So you spread, of course you're on the edge of the chair. You got your nose close over your toes, because if you don't, you're not going to stand up. You spread the TheraBand and you stand up with your hands in neutral if you can. Now when I sit back down, the TheraBand tends to come in. I let it come in. Well, I don't let it come in, it just comes in. Probably best to hold it out. So I spread it back out every time before I stand up, and then when I'm coming down, I try not to let it come in. But it does a little bit, and I spread it back out. I just keep doing them. For some reason, this activates your glutes. I don't know that it unactivates your quads and hamstrings, because I just felt them and they felt tight. But it engages your mainly gluteus medius, and that's hip stability. And if you think hip stability has nothing to do with core, I would say you're wrong. Because, well, we wouldn't have pelvic floor therapists, would we? I mean, there's a whole thing to, if your hips aren't even, you're not going to walk evenly.
Yes.
And I noticed my hips aren't even. Let's see if I can show this. So like when I'm sitting around, if I just sit here in what I think is normal with my feet, looky here. I'm getting something so you can see. This knee is about an inch ahead of the other. So sometimes when I'm sitting around, I just do this. Actually, I do this. Do a whole hip thing. Try and learn how to see. Now they're lined up. I can feel like that's not where I normally hold my hips. I hold them here, and that leg's out a little bit, not as much as it was. So I'm a big believer in symmetry. Especially if you want to look normal, whatever that is. People you see walking around the grocery store are fairly symmetrical. Of course, there's no such thing as perfect symmetry. It's unobtainable, not going to happen, but getting close to good symmetry is good, because then you're holding all the muscles the way you should. When you got the shoulder all postured and your arm down and your hip out of place and everything, how are you going to walk? How are you going to walk nice and smooth if that hip's not level with the other one? One of the things I do when I watch people walk, like when I watch Judy walk on the videos that Tina shot, one of the things I look at first is I look at like the waistband or the hips. I get something in the clothing that the person's wearing, and I'm looking to see if the hips are level or if one's dipping. I've got a little bit of hip dip myself. After all these years, I can just about get rid of it if I spend at least an hour a day every day. I don't do that. the little bit that I've got doesn't bother me. If I was going to try to run again, I can run a little bit, but I don't do it in front of anybody much because it looks pretty goofy. My arms are out of opposition and I can't cycle my legs fast enough. If I want to do something like that, I would make sure that I had no hip dip. And anybody out there in YouTube land that wants to run, I talked to a physical therapist friend of mine who had a stroke, ran the Boston Marathon after he had a stroke twice, David Dancero. And he said the secret to running is ankle strength. Actually, the secret to a lot of things is ankle strength, because that's what we were talking about with Judy and Kara earlier. You're not going to get rid of an AFO without a good level of ankle strength and flexibility. But I've been told by several people, and that ankles are the key. And somebody like David Dancer, who ran the Boston Marathon after a stroke and is a physical therapist, I would take as a pretty reliable source for what worked for him and what's likely to work for you. So it's a big, long path, though, from getting rid of an AFO to running the Boston Marathon. And David had an AFO. David also had a PFO, but that's a whole nother discussion. And hole in the heart. Judy, next Tuesday, we've got Maddie Nybeck coming back to talk about the sleeve. I think you said you were wearing a sleeve.
Yes, I started wearing it in January.
How do you like it?
I love it.
Good. Well, if you're available next Tuesday, come on and listen to what Maddie has to say and chime in with your experience.
I will, sure.
Okay. All right. I can keep demoing. Anybody got any more questions, or should we save the next demos for the next time we do this? Oh, you got a question, Judy? Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question about balancing exercises, because it seems to me as I'm doing my balancing exercises that it's having a powerful, positive impact on my core as well. Has that been your experience as well?
Yeah, I kind of said that in the beginning, that core is, key to balance, in my opinion.
Okay.
You're not going to, because we use our core to recover. Okay. It's one thing to stand holding on to a grab bar. I mean, you can stand holding on to a grab bar all day and you don't have balance issues. When you have, if you let go or you're walking and you have balance issues, what's the most important thing? Knowing where center is again, so you don't like come up, all off center. You pop up, but your core is what you use to, get out of like leaning too far back. You pull yourself back. So I'm leaning too far forward. I want to pull myself back to a neutral position. I can feel it right here in the muscles in my core. So what are you doing for balance exercises? Balance exercises are always interesting.
Well, I'm working really hard to be able to balance on my affected leg. I did that. That was always part of the testing in physical therapy, and I could never do it. In fact, I still struggle. But now I'm every day, several times a day, no matter where I am in the house, I'll grab onto something and start balancing on one leg. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to improve. And the hardest part on my affected side is finding that area that feels comfortable to be able to be on that one leg.
I've been working on that too for 17 years. It's a big problem. I can stand, sometimes I've gone 15, 20 seconds on my affected leg, and that's about all I can do. somebody with good balance, like my ex-wife, could stand like a flamingo with one leg up, either leg, like basically forever.
Yeah.
Of course, she did things like she would scrub her heels in the shower. She would scrub her heels with soap and lava rock, like standing there, lifting up one leg, and yeah, like I looked at it before I had my stroke, and I went, no way. Anyway, so she had pretty good balance, but for the rest of us, especially with stroke, it's a big issue. And yeah, you're right. You can do it anywhere because, like I do it when I put my dinner in the microwave. You stand there and you use the kitchen counters. You can use your fingertips. You can put your hands down and grab on if you need to. But I try and like hover, just use my fingertips to correct and keep going. So
I think too, part of it is my proprioception is off. So I think that makes it harder on my affected side to find that area where I can balance.
right. Okay. Two things here popped to mind. One popped to mind a minute ago, and I didn't get to it, and the other one has got to do with balance. You need three things. There are three things that are responsible for balance. One of them is your vestibular system. That's the interconnection of your inner ears and your brain. Another one is proprioception, the ability to know where your body is in space, everything from where you're putting that next step to knowing where that magic point is. And the third thing is vision. And I'm doing this because we're much more dependent on, I'm looking at all the windows and doors, and you see all the horizontals and stuff. You start doing this, well, guess what? All the verticals are not vertical anymore. So that helps us. We become a lot more dependent on vision. But you can balance with any two of the three. So if you're, that's what scientists and therapists tell me. So if your vestibular system is messed up from your stroke, literally, damaged between your ear and your brain, then all you got to do is make sure you're using your vision in a way that's helping you and work on proprioception. So because that's the whole thing. When you stumble, proprioception says, okay, I'm falling forward, pull back, or I'm going right, pull left, and it has to be, it has to be quick. It has to be automatic again. It was automatic before our strokes. It's hard to make it automatic again because we don't move that quick. The signals seem like they're delayed to me, for lack of, that's not a scientific term, but they're slower or delayed. And so you don't react as quickly. Here comes Mercer to say, you've been on too long, Dad. Hey, bud. Nope, he's just going to do a drive-by. Anyway, come on. Trying not to teach, they keep knocking stuff off my work table here. I'm trying to train them not to come up on my desk table. Anyway, so yeah, two out of three will give you balance. So proprioception's real important. And it's good in your hands. You can do stuff like I'll touch the camera. So this is my affected side. So here's the camera right there. So I can touch the camera about 5 times while I'm looking. What your brain does is it memorizes. Yeah, I got a little bit of shake. So now I'm going to close my eyes and do it. I think I'm hitting it. I can't see. I got my eyes closed. Open them. Yeah, I'm hitting
Pretty good.
Well, you know how I learned how to do that? Real simple. Take a sticky note, a 1 penny sticky note. You put it on the wall, and you do it 5 times looking, and then 5 times not looking. And then you close your eye, then you open your eyes again, do it 5 more times, 5 more times. Now you move it, and you do it over here. Now you move it down here, and you do it over here, and you move it way up high. You do it like that, and eventually you're training your brain. I also do it with foot placement. Get a block of wood and stand and put your toe up on the block of wood repeatedly, with your eyes closed so you know where it is. Eventually, your brain will learn these things. Now, why is that important? Because we don't want to, I don't know about you, but like Judy was saying, I didn't want to be dependent on an AFO for the rest of my life when I got home from the rehab hospital. Well, I looked down at my feet and I said, I don't want to be walking around like this, staring at my feet for the rest of my life. So it's important to know where you're putting them, that you're putting them about the same distance apart, that you're not cocking the affected leg out or in, that your toe is kind of straight.
Yeah.
All those things. Ideally what you're trying to do is, you ever see like the footsteps on the floor, like going to the bathroom or something? Well, if
Yeah.
they're perfectly spaced, you can actually step on the steps and you're doing nice even walking. So proprioception will help you do that all inside your your mind. That's what you want to get, so you're not staring. It took me forever to get my gaze to go up and up and up when I walked. And eventually I practiced looking at the horizon on the beach. I found my head would still drop. So I walked down the beach like this. And I could feel the pressure on my hands from my chin, because my brain was going, look down, and it would put pressure down. And I actually, and the beach, because you have a really good infinity line, and that infinity line is exactly level with you at that point. Okay, you're 5 feet off the ground. In Judy's case, her eyes are 4'6" off the ground, but that 4'6" on a 5-mile triangle becomes nothing. It's essentially the same as flat. And the same thing in PT. Kara was here with a Bosu ball. Actually, it was an exercise physiologist. I was at the gym and I noticed everybody getting up on the Bosu balls effortlessly. So Amazon had them on sale one day for $80, and I snapped one up because now they're 140 or something. They were 110 at that time. So I got one cheap and I started learning how to do it. And the exercise physiologist said, okay, now do a deep knee bend, down do knee bends on it. I mastered like getting up on it and getting off of it. And then she said, okay, try doing knee bends on it. Okay. Well, the first thing you got to do is quiet your feet, because they can move in the Bosu ball. And when I get up on it, my feet are going they're just moving all the time. You got to learn how to like quiet them, and it's kind of a whole calming thing. And a lot of it's got to do with nervousness and tension and fear. When you can quiet your feet, you've kind of dissipated the fear somewhat, because they're not going nuts. So I got up and off. I learned how to quiet my feet. Now she says deep knee bends. Okay. Well, that's a whole nother level. And then, so I got deep knee bends down. She says, okay, now grab a TheraBand. And what I want you to do is pull the TheraBand out while you're doing deep knee bend. And yeah. And look at infinity again. Because again, what you're doing is you're trying to learn how to do it all inside your brain, as opposed to memorizing it with your eyes. And that's, to me, that's what proprioception is. Linda's saying, I thought Linda just said, can I see a picture of a Bosu ball? Sure. I could go get mine probably about as quick as I could call it up, but I'll call it up.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you.
You want okay.
Whatever works for you.
Okay. I've seen pictures of them in different colors. Mine's this basic blue, not that blue. We'll see. The other thing is some of them may not be Bosu brand, but let's see. Let's go to images, see if we can find somebody on one. Well, they're
I
handy.
think I have the one that Judy was speaking of. It's kind of like a squeegee. I think I have that one. Yeah, I
Yeah,
see what
yeah.
you're talking about.
Okay, look at this. How about doing a pistol squat on a Bosu ball? Of course, I saw a woman doing
Bosu
pistol
ball.
squats. I kid you not. I saw a video, and it was not AI. I'm a video editor. I know the difference. She was doing pistol squats on top of a champagne glass in high heels.
Oh my God.
Yeah, both legs. And she switched. But you can flip Bosu balls over. Here it's like a push up, but you know, if you do this with a stroke and you have a weak side, the Bosu ball is not going to be level. So the point would be, you know, keep the Bosu ball level. They're handy. It wouldn't be the first $100 that I spent. I tell you what, I meant to show you guys something. I know there are only a few of us left. I'm gonna go get it. I left it in my office, and I thought of it because I said this wasn't the first $100 I would spend, and I'll show you what the first $2 I would spend on therapy devices. I'll be right back. Okay, while I was at it, I figured I'd go ahead and get the old Bosu ball. They're bigger and heavier than you might think. Put it out here in the bag of tricks. Okay, so what's the first $2 I would spend in therapy equipment? That would be this door anchor right here.
Oh,
Judy just knows why. Okay, you ever go to the gym and they got this whole wall with little slots and you put the bands in the slots and it lets you pull them and you adjust the height and all that kind of thing? Well, this turns any door into that you can put it over the top and do the up and down thing with a piece of rope, like a pulley. You don't need a
yeah.
pulley. The plain rope will slide right through this over the top. You can put it on the side and do stuff at arm level. You can put it down like 8 inches off the ground. Yeah, you can do it a little higher and do this and this. And you can put it 6 8 inches off the ground, attach a band around your ankle, and do leg exercises. I've seen them for as cheap as $1.50. I've seen them for $10. I'd go for the $1.50s. There's not anything particular special about them. I thought about buying 1,000 of these and having stroke buddies put on them and giving them away to people for like branding. I mean, best $1.50 you could spend, or $3. There's one company that sells them for $18 a dozen. Now that it's a company that supplies therapy places, because you won't need a dozen of them. I've only ever had one. I've only ever used one. I never went, gee, it'd be great if I had a second one to put on this side of the door or anything. One of them will do you. So, and don't think I'm going to jump up on that Bosu ball after an hour and a half of demonstrating stuff and with nothing around here to hold on to. No, Maybe I'll figure it out next week and I'll use something like I'll move the cat tree over so I can grab on it or something. I'm not gonna demo anything. I'm not planning on falling in front of anybody, but I'm also never gonna demonstrate anything where I don't have talked about safety because I'm trying to promote safety in myself and with everything I ever show anybody because I'm trying to help people. I'm not here to hurt people or see them get hurt. So I dwell on safety for that reason. Okay, so maybe we ought to wrap this up.
Wait, Ralph, walking in front of the other feet, is that okay for balance?
You're walking what?
Put one feet in front of the other.
Oh yeah, that's really good for balance and really hard. You're talking about walking like this, heel to toe?
Yes,
That's
yes.
really hard. Make sure you do it in like a hallway near where you can fall into the wall.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that may have been at your rehab facility. I saw a video of you walking up and down the hall and it had one of those like hospital bars all down.
Mhm.
That would be ideal. Someplace where you got something continual that you can grab onto. Now, when you
Okay.
do that in the hospital, of course, there are doors, and there's a short gap where it stops for a door. But once you get good enough, you can. Well, I remember the first time I went, okay, it's time to learn how to go past the door. Well, I'm scared to, but I did it, and it was no big deal. It's funny how sometimes you're afraid of something, and you do it, and you go, why was I so afraid? Of course, that should not make you reckless. All right. So yeah, walking that's a really good balance exercise. I need to make a balance playlist. Because another thing I did was I stood in a corner where I could lean back, and then I would come up hands free, and I put a chair in front of me because in case I went that way. But basically, you come up and you start moving around a little bit in the corner, and you start to feel a little wonky or something. You just lean back and put your back into the corner, and you have a way of not falling over. So yeah, heel toe walking is difficult. I'll tell you one place you can do it where I've done it, where I didn't have a big long thing is I've got a king size bed, and I can do it about 10 steps as I go along the bed and just put my hand on the bed. And when I was learning how to do it, I'd keep my hand on the bed. I'd get it down and let my brain get used to it with the hand as the crutch. It's not a physical crutch, but the mental crutch. And then start taking the hand away. If you really got pretty good balance, you could try it without that step, but still have something that you for in case you got to bail, you want something to bail to. I'm not
Yeah.
so you don't hit the floor.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and end this on YouTube, and I'll come right back and stream. And anybody's got anything else, I'm happy to answer that. I just